Hey everybody, this is the Savage Blitz Sunday, Florida, the last pro race of the season, the year. Actually, they said that it might be the last pro Savage Blitz ever. I think they're doing away with the Pro Blitz. I'm not sure why. I guess just the numbers aren't there. Sad. It's my first time running it, and I think it's my favorite. It was short and it was fast. There wasn't any time for error, and that makes it exciting. This was, again, Sunday. I ran the Savage race the day before, the 6 mile race, and I actually felt pretty good. My legs felt good. My hands were pretty beat up. I was a little concerned about my forearm grip strength because, like always, they like to have those ridiculous rigs, which is a good thing in my opinion. I think a lot of these obstacle races have really watered down their obstacles. Now, one thing I would add to that is I won't say this very often, but there's a good thing about Spartan race is that it's the same obstacles every time, so you know how to train and you know what to expect. Whereas this one, it's like, man, who knows what you're going to get? Is it going to be ridiculously hard, or is it going to be pretty easy? Who knows? And it got me. Saturday, I went in 6 miles in. Savage has really difficult upper body obstacle, grip intensive. And then after 6 miles of running hard, it got me. It was also very wet. And there was like a 7.5 foot lache. It took out the majority of the field. It was my first DNF ever. Sad. But it was a good wake-up call at the same time. Pushed myself, saw where my limits were, and now I see what things I need to work on. Anyways, back to this race. This is the Blitz. Another thing is that I guess World Toughest Mudder was this weekend as well. So a lot of bigger names I don't think were here, or there were big names. Not saying they weren't, but to start off, like I said, it was fast in the beginning there. In that little stretch, I was doing a 6:30 pace, and I still wasn't in the front. So those guys were doing 5:30, maybe even faster. Alvaro wins it, spoiler alert, and he is a fast guy. He was in the lead the day before. Him and Van Tran were going back and forth, but the two of them lost it on the final rig, and Noel Medina took home the W. This guy right here in the blue and white, that guy kicked my ass this weekend. The whole time I'm chasing him. I knew him from the day before. I actually ended up catching him towards the end. There was a mile-long carry, and I actually he went the wrong way, thank the Lord, and he came back on course, and I was able to stay in front of him. He ended up beating me because it was the final rig and got third overall. So I knew that he was fast. I knew he had a good pace. People started off hot, and they started to fade, and we both were working to run people down. So you can see that here. Like, there's one guy that's on this cargo net with us, and he started off real fast and definitely slows down. We catch another guy here in some running coming up. And I thought I was making up ground on him with obstacles, but he's good at obstacles. He's a good runner, and he's good at obstacles. I think he's from Finland. Definitely not from the United States. And I was pushing, but I just couldn't catch him. He was wrecking wall. I like this new obstacle. Rise and Shine's another new one. Great. Man, I am not as good at obstacles as I thought I was. People, I'm not bad, but people are good. And you'll see this guy, again, blue and white. He crushes Rise and Shine. He crushes the final obstacle as well. So today, the final obstacle is, or the final rig is still difficult, but not as, really what it was is there was that 7.5 foot lache. They had a nunchuck and a T-bar to help you get across, but the nunchuck was impossible to grab because it was so wet. So you almost had to lache. And then when the sun came out finally, it did dry up a little bit. So then people were able to use the nunchuck. But by that time, my grip was gone. But this guy just goes through it casually like it was nothing. And he does it again today. And he ends up getting fourth. Another thing, like I'm sitting here taking the side route on the crawl, and some dude just cruises by me. It's like, all right, I guess I got to work on that as well. My running was really good. I was really happy with my running. It's funny how like my perceived effort stays the same, but my speed is just getting faster. So I was averaging between like 8 and 7 minutes pace. Like in this running here coming up after Wheel Whirl, which I was planning on, I was going to take a risk on this and do the risky route of going down one side of the wheels where you like jump and skip versus doing the serpentine, but I'm glad I did not do that. But anyways, so here I'm running about a 7:20 pace, which is pretty good. Jamie Horonopoulos, I think that's how you say her last name, caught me here Saturday and Sunday, and that only again motivates me to get out there and running. But she is very fit. I think she won 8 in a row. 8 is her 8th podium in a row, or 8th first place finish for a Savage race. So she is impressive. So if I was able to keep up with her, which I wasn't, then I knew I was doing good. Colossus Saturday, it was like they put butter or something getting out of the water. Another good tell of how you're feeling is if it's a struggle to get out of that thing, you know you're hurting. But I got out of there pretty easy. I felt great. I ran better Sunday than I did Saturday. So we're coming up on Savage Rig number 1. And again, this guy just flies through it. Jamie passes me in running. She's way better than me at running. I forget what happens here, but I think she does something, but she ends up hitting the pole and failing, which I thought was wild. But she was okay. Spoiler alert, she got first. But here, I don't know what happened. She hit the pole and then I just went on by her. There goes blue and white shirt just taking off. Left me in the dust. This guy up here, interesting. He was a very fast runner. He was running with Alvaro. I remember seeing him in the beginning. You'll see him with the black pants. No shirt, black pants. He was moving, but then you can see here he kind of struggles with Anchors Away. So we're coming up towards the end. I think we're at like mile 2.5, and this is when all the obstacles start, or not all of them, but a good amount of the good obstacles start. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can make up some room on this guy. You can see Anchors Away is different. It's just the chains. There's one bar, and I was gonna try and do the skip, but I felt risky. I told myself I was going to go on this taking risk, and I didn't. I didn't at all. And honestly, I'm happy I didn't. My running and my fitness is good enough that I didn't have to take crazy risks. Maybe if I took the risk, I would have podiumed. Who knows? Unlikely. But here's Rise and Shine. So I'm pretty sure one of these guys cheats. That guy steps on the truss. Whatever, who cares? But look at this guy, blue and white. He just grabs it, hangs, grabs that, pulls himself up, legless rope climb, grabs that, hits the bell, and just keeps on cruising. I take the very conservative, safe approach where I hang for a second, get my feet, climb up to the top, significantly slower. The guy's catching me now. I'm starting to get tired. I know the rig's coming up. I'm lived rent-free in my brain for 24 hours as it kicked my ass yesterday. So I'm nervous. I guess Jamie got in front of me again. Great. Shrivel Richard and then rig. So it's like I was honestly running scared at this point and kind of hesitant and not being aggressive like I should have been. And it's all because I failed that rig the day before and it got to me. So I start to jog slower. I actually walk at one point, dry my hands off on the pole. You can see blue and white's pretty much already through it. So I was behind them. Now I'm not even close. Catch my breath. This guy catches me. I see that. So actually fourth. So that guy, blue and white took fourth. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Blue and white took fourth because fourth was tied up in the rig, struggling. And then you can see Black Pants over there was also struggling. He actually ended up failing, which I didn't know. So I have a shot at fifth place right now. Of course, I don't know that. And then this guy's coming in, and he's going to try and also shoot for fifth. And of course, he's in my age group, and the other guy's in my age group. So we're all battling for age group podium and also fifth place because there's no way we're catching blue and white. Oh, actually, I think... Is he still over there? Oh, yeah. He cruises through it here in a second. I'm catching my breath. I'm getting my grip back. I should have been more aggressive. It was a lot easier today than it was the day before. But I didn't. I don't know. So one thing I did is I kept my feet. There's a lot of things. The lower hole is down there. So I chose this lane for that reason because it's easier to grab. I kept my feet on the cargo net as long as I could. And also when I grabbed the hole at the top, I pulled it down and got my hands adjusted as I needed before I took my feet off the cargo net. It took me a second to grab that rope. I was being real conservative. I should have just legless rope climbed up, but I was scared from the day before. So that guy took off, got through it before I did. So now I'm kind of trying to chase him down. And then something very, very impressive happens up here between this guy and the other guy. I'm pretty exhausted, not gonna lie. But the three of us kind of come up to the mega at the same time. It's got this guy here, another Black Pants, no shirt. He's got a headband, and then the guy with the Puerto Rico jersey. So I guess he failed it. The Puerto Rico jersey failed it. He actually got same guy who got second the day before. But I think he failed it, and now he's just standing there trying to catch his breath. So headband runs up and kind of gets ahead of him, and then I'm running up, and then I'm going to try and get ahead of him. But this guy has some willpower, so he runs up, and you can see that headband gets up there before him, but then he gets up right behind him, throws himself down the cargo net, and it is steep. And then I talked to Headband. See, he throws himself. Headband told me that he did a double roll, and by the time I get up there, he's already taken off. Wow. Wow. So again, like, I thought I was good at obstacles. I thought that I push. These guys push. And the blue and white shirt is definitely way better at obstacles than I am. So, with that being said, I finished 7th overall and 3rd in my age group, which is pretty crazy. So 4th was the only one not in my age group, and then 5, 6, and then me. 1, 2, 3, our age groups. Very happy with how I did. My running fitness is something I've been working on, and it definitely showed. I guess I got to get back to doing obstacle and grip strength. But Savage, great race as always. Great way to finish off the final race of the year, and I'll definitely be running again next year in March.